888 for Amy Timlin. 8 stone, 8 pound, 8 ounces, Amy Timlin.
So both women comfortably inside the 8 stone 10 limit, and therefore the Commonwealth Super Bantamweight title is on the line for the first time on Saturday night. These two will do battle live.
Timlin v. Skelly, 10 rounds for the vacant Commonwealth. Ladies and gentlemen, our next contest for the evening that we're going ahead and weighing in right now, 6 rounds in the Super Bantamweight division, making her way to the stage. Her young professional record thus far perfect, 1 fight, 1 victory. That victory came by way of knockout. Fighting out of Usyk, Germany, please welcome Eva Hubmaier. Hubmaier.
Not a great deal known about Eva Hubmaier. Just 1-0 on her record. Of course, Ramla Ali making her debut as well. This one's slated at Super Bantam, so 8 stone 10, 122 pounds.
Nine stone 2.5 for Hubmaier. 9 stone 2.5 for Eva Hubmaier.
Really, Darren?
No, of course not. I'm looking forward to this one. Been impressed with Ramla Ali inside the ring. I've seen a little bit of her before,
Ali
but
v.
outside the ring
Hubmaier,
also.
6 rounds, Super Bantamweight, Saturday night, Matchroom Boxing.
Still want to know how you think an elephant beats a lion.
Well, just think it only needs to land 1 shot, doesn't it, really? For all the
Too
lion's
slow.
speed.
So what's his finishing move?
Big trunk slap, overhand trunk
I
slap.
just don't think it's going to be quick enough.
Well, we'll agree to disagree. It's almost like an analogy for the main event on Saturday.
I've never seen an elephant hunt in packs either. Lions do.
They don't need to hunt in packs, that's why.
Too slow.
It's good chat, this. You can see why people tune in. Everything's all right at home, yeah?
Right, we're going to play a game of FIFA to settle this. Winner is right.
Tell you what a great venue this has been. If people haven't seen, we've got a fantastic...
Ladies and gentlemen, we're set to go with our next weigh-in of the afternoon.
Here.
This is 12 rounds for the vacant European Cruiserweight Championship. Introducing up first, his professional record, 25 victories, 1 defeat, 2 draws. He's got 14 wins coming by way of knockout. He fights out of Ninova in East Flanders, Belgium. Please welcome the IBF Intercontinental Cruiserweight Champion, Bilal Bilanamo Lagoon.
Well, Lagoon is a really good, solid, all-round European level fighter, but McCarthy said he's confident that he won't be able to live with him in terms of boxing skill, fitness or strength. Needs to be under 14-4.
14 stone 3.5 for Lagoon. 14 stone 3.5 for Lagoon.
He doesn't look in incredible shape, Darren, but he's bang on the weight.
No, we've seen it time and time before. Fighters that don't look amazing, but have got
and
engine.
His opponent right now making his way to the stage. 16 victories against 2 defeats. He's got 8 wins coming by way of knockout. Fighting out of Belfast, Northern Ireland. He is the WBC International Cruiserweight Champion. Please welcome the Mac Attack, Tommy McCarthy.
So European title shot for Irish Cruiserweight Tommy McCarthy. 16-2 now, those 2 defeats. Matty Askin 4 years ago, Richard Riatport last year. Been much improved under Pete Taylor though. Very patient, calculated performance against the former Italian Cruiserweight champion Fabio Turchi. You were there for that, Darren, and showed a lot in terms of patience and punch picking and a really good, solid sort of 12-round plan and got the win on the road.
He did, and you know what? At times he had to dig deep, especially late, and he showed us something that you don't know if you've got it or you have. You know, or you haven't, and he showed that he can dig deep when he needs to. He's a tough man, very skillful, very laid-back individual. I'm a big fan of him.
Yeah, he's been good company this week. We had him on the show yesterday, and wish him well for
14
tomorrow
stone,
night.
3.5 for Tommy McCarthy.
Perfect.
14 stone, 3.5 for the Mac Attack.
So the European title is on the line, both coming in under that 14-4 limit. And that's kind of part one of their job done ahead of tomorrow night. Always a big relief, especially when the belt's on the line.
I used to love it. I say it all the time, Chris. After the weigh-in, it is after battle. You know, for most divisions, well, all of divisions bar one, it's weight management, and it is a nightmare. But this is brilliant. It's showtime now. It's time to knuckle down, get your head completely on the fight, and I'm sure these guys will with a European title on the line.
One man who will be watching this tomorrow night is Richard Riatpour, who, of course, holds one of 2 wins over Tommy McCarthy.
McCarthy v. Lagoon, 12 rounds for the vacant European Cruiserweight Championship. Saturday night, Sky Sports Box Office, Dazn, Matchroom Boxing.
And of course, if Lawrence Okoli gets a big win over Krzysztof Glowacki and gets hold of the vacant WBO title, one of these two, whoever wins this on Saturday night, potentially faces Riatpour in a kind of eliminator of sorts, and could end up facing Lawrence Okoli before he moves up to heavyweight, which I know is in his long-term plans. So it's really interesting for the British domestic scene, this one as well. And Tommy McCarthy securing that belt has big implications for some of the European cruiserweights coming up. Chris Billam-Smith and Dion Juma doing battle as well in a few weeks' time. That's a really interesting fight too. Good domestic division, this. So Tommy McCarthy just talking to Sky on our left. Really good opportunity for him on Saturday night, this, and a great appetizer for the main cruiserweight clash, Alexander Usyk and Derek Chisora. And you never know what you're going to get from those two, but I think we do know stylistically what we're going to get from them in the ring on Saturday night.
The main event?
Yeah.
Sorry, there's a speaker right behind your heads. I'm just struggling to hear you a little bit. Yeah, look, we know what we're going to get from both, absolutely. Dell's going to bring it. Usyk has that superior class. It's just, look, I just love the way that Dell approaches a fight. So he's always going to be an exciting contest. I think, you know, we touched on the Caballero. He was a bit flat.
Ladies
but
and gentlemen,
he's going to be
very
well up
excited
for it.
about
We've
this
seen
next
it, so
contest.
he's going to leave it all in the ring.
Before I go ahead and bring these fighters up, one of the people from the training team is here. Gary Jacobs, former Scottish champion. Let's give him a nice round of applause out there. Gary Jacobs right there in the house. Nice to see him here. Ladies and gentlemen, it's now time to weigh in. 10 rounds for the vacant WBO Middleweight Championship of the world. She's now making her way onto the stage. 9 wins, 4 defeats, 2 of her wins coming by way of knockout. She's the former IBO World and WBC Silver Champion, fighting out of Glasgow, Scotland. Please welcome Hannah Rankin. Rankin.
Scotland's own lost her IBO light middleweight title in unification of sorts against Patricia Begoots. At this time last year, it was a really good effort against Clarissa Shields for the unified titles at middleweight too.
11 stone, 4 1/4 for Hannah Rankin. And her opponent now making her way to the stage. Her professional record thus far perfect. 8 fights, 8 victories, 6 of them coming by way of knockout. Here is the undefeated 2-time Olympian fighting out of Hartlepool, England. Here is Savannah, the silent assassin, Marshall. Marshall.
Well, the lightest as a pro was 163 1/4 against Borislana Goranova in May last year. She'll need to come in nearly 4 pounds lighter than that headed tomorrow night. Wonder just how that may affect her, having not made this championship weight before.
11.5 1/4 for Savannah Marshall. 11.5 1/4 for Savannah Marshall.
She is over half a pound under the weight, and that's good. And that means that we have a fight and we have a title on the line.
At last.
At last.
You know,
yeah.
I'm looking forward to this one. 2 very good fighters, 2 fighters that are desperate to win this world title, and I'm sure it's going to be fireworks because I just feel that they're going to meet in the centre of the ring, and I know how tough Rankin is. I know how strong Savannah Marshall is, and I think the styles are just going to gel, and it's going to be fireworks.
And the discipline to kind of stay on weight and maintain that calorie deficit for another 2 weeks. Will that have affected one more than the other? I guess we may find out tomorrow night.
Marshall v. Rankin, 10 rounds for the vacant WBO Middleweight Championship of the World. 12 rounds for the final eliminator for the IBF Lightweight Championship of the World. It's all being brought to you courtesy of Mr. Eddie Hearn of Matchroom Boxing in association with Lou DiBella's DiBella Entertainment. Introducing up first to the stage, undefeated as a professional, 18 fights, 18 victories, 10 of them coming by way of knockout. Fighting out of and proudly representing his home of Sydney, New South Wales, Australia, here is the WBA Oceania and IBF Pan-Pacific champion, George Ferocious Kambosos Jr. Kambosos Jr.
Well, the former sparring partner of Manny Pacquiao, done over 100 rounds with the 8th Division World Champion. And he sparred over 20 World Champions on the road in his career as a lightweight contender, but he's really, really keen to step out of the shadow now, become his own man, and not be seen as a top-level sparring partner, but as a contender and eventually as a champion in his own right. And, well, he talks the talk.
He does talk the talk, and he looks the part as well. Yeah. Yesterday when we had him on the show, he looks $1 million. The pot of gold for Kambosos is huge. You know, he thinks he can fight Lopez in front of 15,000 people in his own city of Sydney. What a huge pot of gold.
9-8 3/4 for George Ferocious Kambosos Jr.
9-9, of course, the lightweight limit in stone for those of you watching.
And his opponent now making his way up to the stage. His professional record, 28 victories, 2 defeats. He has 9 wins coming by way of knockout. Fighting out of Barry, Wales. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the former IBF Featherweight Champion of the World, Lightning Lee Selby. Selby.
Feels like a different chapter ago in his career that he beat Evgeny Gradovich to win the world title, and really he struggled at that 126-pound limit chronically, and had the look of the guy in his later years at featherweight who was just managing rounds and couldn't really find fifth gear.
9-8 3/4 for Lightning Lee Selby. 9-8 3/4.
And I don't think, Darren, as he was happy to admit yesterday, that even the lightweight limit is now easy for him at this age. That's just sometimes how the body expands, and once you do let it expand, it doesn't want to go back to where it was.
It's hard, and when you get older and you've got all those miles on the clock, you've achieved your ultimate goal, it's so hard to lose the weight. And I wouldn't say he struggled, but I wouldn't have said it was easy. But he's fighting a young, ferocious man in Kambosos who really believes it's his time.
Yeah, he's that hunger and that fire going to just be the difference in there tomorrow night if things get really, really tough. We saw it against Omar Douglas. We saw it in spots against Ricky Burns, which was a knife-edge encounter for Lee Selby. And Kambosos said he lacks the punch power in this division. You could certainly argue that is the case. And we certainly know one thing with Kambosos as a career lightweight is he doesn't lack the punch power in this division. He's going to be the puncher in there.
He's aggressive. He likes to be on the front foot, moving forward, landing big bombs. So I expect fireworks from the off, I really do.
Selby v. Kambosos, 12 rounds for the final eliminator for the IBF Lightweight Championship of the World.
Well, I've just seen a clip of Derek Chisora, and he's got his face paint, body paint on rather.
So whatever's...
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's now time to weigh in the main event for Saturday night. 12 rounds for the WBO Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship. It's all being brought to you courtesy of Mr. Eddie Hearn of Matchroom Boxing in association with K2 Promotions and Haymaker Boxing. Now on the scale, 32-9, 23 knockouts. Fighting out of Finchley, North London, England, the former British, the former Commonwealth, the former European, the former WBA and WBO International Champion, and the reigning WBO Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion, Del Boy, Derek War Chisora. Chisora. 18-3.5 for Del Boy. 18-3.5 for Derek War Chisora.
Well, just a normal day when Derek Chisora is
And
around.
now making his way to the stage, here is the highly skilled and celebrated southpaw, undefeated as a professional, 17 fights, 17 victories, 13 of them coming by way of knockout. He's the 2012 Olympic gold medalist and the former undefeated and undisputed Cruiserweight champion of the world from Kiev, Ukraine, Pani Topanova, Alexander Usyk. Usyk.
It'll be fascinating to see the new physique of Usyk as he's grown into heavyweight. In truth, he doesn't look much different to when he used to weigh in at cruiser. Came in around 215 against Chaz Witherspoon, expecting to be somewhere between that and 220 ahead of tomorrow night.
I'm a fan of the odd socks.
15 stone 7 1/4 for Alexander Usyk. 15 stone 7 1/4.
So 217 pounds that translates to for our friends stateside and anyone that works in pounds. But where it's been nice in this build-up, Derek Chisora has, as we expected, just cranked it up a little notch. But Alexander Usyk will not be fazed by that. Maybe this will just light a fire under him ahead of tomorrow.
Yeah, he's he's different, though, isn't he? But he loves to fight. It's his game. He's a born fighter, and you can see now as we're edging closer to the fight, he really ramps it up, like you say, and he's really trying his best to get the last bit of intimidation tactics in.
And one of the few fighters where you just don't know how much of it's an act and how much of this is the real him. We know he's got one or two different personalities.
Alexander Usyk beat Derek Chisora, 12 rounds for the WBO Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship. Saturday night's main event from the SSE Wembley, London, England.
Oh. Like a couple of Batman villains, Darren, from a good Marvel film, but this is a true Halloween special between these two. And Derek, as we knew he would, just crank things up a notch